Hello, Kindred Spirits, and welcome back to Bits and Bob's Divination. My name is Caitlin, and today we are going to be diving in to see what qualities about you really magnetize and attract particular people into your life. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Alright, so welcome back, my beautiful and kindred spirits, and anyone new who may be joining us here on the channel today. Always lovely to have you guys here and familiar faces. We are going to be looking into the annual reading that I love to do, where we really get to fluff up your guys' ego in a way, and it just put such a smile on my face to talk about all the wonderful, lovely qualities about you guys that really attract particular people in. And sure, some of them are very lovely, but sometimes we're going to be talking about the harder, difficult qualities about you that maybe attract maybe not the right type of people in as well. So gives you a bit of a caution, but also gives you more insight as to the reasons why people are attracted to you, for good or for bad. So we're going to see that with the different piles here today. They are not specifically romantic related piles either. So these could be looking into, attracting in old family members, old friends, new friends, community members, job offers, opportunities, all different sides of the coin. So feel free to take your time choosing the piles here today. But before we do, if you want to get a reading for yourself looking into a particular relationship in your life that you already have and have already nurtured, whether spiritually, romantically, with a family member, with a friend, or anything else under the sun, or even with yourself, then this is the perfect reading option for you, where I have 3 different spreads that you can choose from, as well as different price points for both digital and snail mail reading options, where I send a letter to you in the mail, typewritten on a vintage typewriter, wax sealed closed for your eyes only, diving deep into any question or query that you have, particularly around these relationships. So if you're interested in one of those relationship readings, it's a great way to support yourself as well as support your relationships and this particular channel. So if you're interested in any of that, all of the information will be down below in the description alongside my email, where you can also send an email to me where I can send more information your way. So definitely feel free to check those out if you'd like to. And the Kindred tip jar is also always open, as well as the other offerings that I provide for your head readings, charm casting mats, your own custom spell and ritual papers that you can receive for your own spells and rituals. And also in terms of art magic, you can also get your own custom stamps that you can use designed just for you and your magic. So all that information will be down below in the description, and you can always send me an email for more information. But like I said, let's go ahead and look at these piles. So we have 3 different piles here today, each with a little heart here, and each of them with a different stamp that I've carved with a symbol on each of them. I do offer, like I said, those stamps that you could receive yourself, but these are just like a little taste of some of the little ones that I've created. So here for the first one, if you're feeling called to pile number 1, you may be feeling called to this particular star. So if you're feeling called to this star, then that is pile number 1. Here for pile number 2, if you're feeling called to this one, you may be feeling called to this particular little heart. So that is pile number 2. And last but not least here for pile number 3, you may be feeling called to this particular heart with the little hand in it, little handprint. So if you're feeling called to this hand, then that is pile number 3. But as always, before you start heading off to the timestamps, I'd like to invite you to take a deep and cleansing breath here with me in just a moment, to call in your guides, to connect with each of the piles, to just take a moment for yourself if you need to. So let's go ahead and take that breath together here now. And as always, there's no rules to this. You can choose all 3 of the piles. You can choose a pile and change your mind. There really are no rules. All the timestamps are down below alongside the chapter marks of this video. And like I said, if you're interested in your own hand-carved stamps, in snail mail readings for a year ahead reading or a relationship reading, or any other of the offerings that I provide, then all the information is down below through my Instagram. So let's go ahead and get started here though with pile number 1. Hello group 1, if you've decided to choose this star, then this is the pile for you. Today we are going to be looking into your most attractive qualities. What really brings people towards you, really attracts them in. They may be ones that you weren't expecting. They may be even traits you'd see as negative in your mind. But we're going to be playing around, seeing what those are for friendships, romantic relationships, for bringing in community members, or even those you would never expect. So we're going to be seeing who those may be with the charms here today, as well as several different oracle decks. We're going to be using some letter tiles as well. All of the decks will be listed, as always, down below in the description down below for you to check out. But today we're going to be starting here first with some of those attributes with the Queer Tarot. I am ready to go, but feel free to get yourself cozy, settled, comfy for this, and definitely send your energy in through the screen so we can see what those attractive and magnetizing traits are about you. So let's see. The personality and attractive traits that really bring people toward you. Group 1. The traits and qualities about you that attract others. Group 1. So we've got the 9 of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, I'm going to take this other top card as well, and the 10 of Cups so far. I want to pull 2 more to see even more information here, but that hot pink is coming forward for sure. Interesting set of cards already. There's a resourceful energy to you that a lot of people really enjoy and like. You also have the Empress, even more resourcefulness. Let's see further. Group 1, the attractive and magnetic qualities of Group 1. Okay, so it looks like you also have the Queen of Pentacles, one of my favorite cards in this deck. Isn't it just gorgeous? I love the colors of this one. But okay, so what do you have going on here? Lots of resourcefulness is the immediate factor that I'm getting here. There's this feeling of the Ace of Pentacles showcasing that you have resources that other people are attracted to, which doesn't always sound like the nicest thing, but it doesn't always have to mean like someone's trying to take things from you or trying to only be friends with you for your money or your resources or the time that you have or the particular expensive things that you have, or even if they're not expensive, just in general, maybe they're resourceful. But because the Ace of Pentacles isn't like the 10 or like a even higher one, the Queen of Pentacles just tells me in general that you maybe just have like your stuff together. Like you just seem like a very resourceful, responsible person, a person who has a good foundation growing underneath them. And I think that's a very important quality to have in others. I think we tend to talk about the magnetism of like personality traits of someone being very magnetic in their charm or in their personality or in the way that they walk or the clothes that they wear or more aesthetic reasons to like someone. And in this case, I feel like it's more so that you just have like this strong sense of self, this strong sense of who you are, what you bring to the table, the financial stability that you bring, but also like the stability in your sense of self and who you are. And you defend it well as well, because the card between these two is the defensive card of the 9 of Wands. And the 9 of Wands tells me that you defend yourself, that you don't take up with people's BS, you don't let people walk all over you. If they're going to say something about your friend or someone that you like or someone that you care about or yourself, you're going to defend yourself. You're going to defend them. You're going to have that foundation of that sense of self where you're like, well, nothing's going to rattle me. Like you don't need to say something to me or, not my insecurities to get my attention. That, if anything, that just turns me off. So in this case, I really feel like you're really good at having that strong foundation of self, of like who you are, what you're rooted to, what you care most about, who you care most about, but also, again, like even a financial stability as well that brings people in terms of like partnership. But it definitely feels like that's there. But then more of that resourcefulness also comes in here with the Empress. And the Empress is someone who does enjoy a bit of an aesthetic side of things as well. So you also could be fashionable. You also could be someone who enjoys the aesthetics of things. You enjoy maybe creative hobbies too, because the Empress is very creative. They love to mix and mingle things together. They love to feel cozy and comfortable. So that foundation is also not just aesthetic, but it's not like okay, like there's the difference between like going to like a store and buying all of these things to furnish your home, but like none of them have sentimental meaning, none of them have a story. Yours have stories, yours have reasons to be there. You have like that strong sense of self, again, being connected to all things in your space as well. Like you don't like to just have things in your space to clutter the space. It's more like, this really means something to me, even if it's just a rock you found outside. It's the rock you found outside when you were walking with that friend on that particular day, and there's a memory behind it. And so I also get that feeling too, that like the clothes that you wear, the things that you furnish your house with and decorate your space with, decorate yourself with, are all, again, more reasons to attract people in, because they are showing characteristics about yourself. They are showing your personality and the way in which you express yourself, not for other people to be attracted to you, but just because you naturally are showing people who you are. And then that genuine attraction shows up there because they're like, oh, you're wearing that particular pin. I love that movie too. And then it sparks conversation. So that's also showing up here. The only other card I haven't really talked about is the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is a card about kind of an idealistic life. It also can represent relationships and emotions, but in this case, because you have such a solid foundation of everything here, where you just feel really solid in who you are, how you express yourself, why you express yourself, there is a little bit of the attraction that comes in here too, of just being like a really bubbly, happy person, a person who just brings out the sunshine, the rainbows, the hope in other people. Maybe you don't always feel hopeful yourself. Maybe you don't always feel bubbly and happy for yourself, but I do see that like either this is a mask you put on, or it is a genuine part of yourself where you want to make other people feel good. You want to make other people feel comfortable around you, and that comfort comes forward quite heavily with this card. So those are the ways in which you magnetize people in. And as always with these, I'd like to mention too, like before we go into more cards, that just because these are the ways that other people are attracted to you doesn't mean that they're always the traits that you like about yourself or that maybe you feel secure in, but other people see it that way. Even if you don't feel like you have such a rock solid foundation, other people see it that way. And so this is just like one viewpoint of you from the way that other people look in. So let's go ahead and see a little bit further. I want to pull some cards here to look into some archetypes. This one is a little bit like, I feel like tarot likes to fluff us up and make us feel really good about ourselves, which is nice. But I do think this deck, while it can do that, it also can be a bit more brutally honest. So we're going to see what else comes forward here in how you may be attracting people in. So we're going to see group 1. So you have the Sailor. Oh, and we're going to take that one too. The Sailor and the Painter. So, okay, this one's not super brutally honest. It really kind of explains a lot that you already had, where we were talking about how you are maybe more creative as well. Whether you are the person who enjoys creating, or you really like to hype up other people's art, and maybe you go to like flea markets and thrift stores, and you maybe enjoy, buying off of Etsy or other people's small businesses and shops to be able to support other artists. I do get that feeling here as well. That if you can't make the art, or you don't feel like you're creative, you do put a lot of value into others' creativity, and that helps attract other people in too. So yeah, you have the Painter here with productivity and creation. You also might just be a very productive person, very good with time management, and that can be a very attractive quality, right? If someone's always late for dates or always late for particular meetups, right, or meetings, that's not always the most attractive thing. So in this case, it can show that you maybe have good time management skills as well. And then you also have the Sailor showing up here with new influences and wanderlust. So this kind of falls under that like idealistic nature and the Empress nature that we have here, of like also, maybe you're a bit of an adventurous person. Maybe not necessarily adventuring halfway across the world or sailing across the seas or doing anything like that. It doesn't even have to necessarily be travel, but just maybe you enjoy more adventurous sports or activities or more risk-taking behaviors and things like that that other people might enjoy when you have like a night off to do so. I don't feel like you're the person who adventures all the time because you have that rock solid foundation, but I do think when you do let your hair down, other people really enjoy the glow. So you have that showing up here as well. And I want to pull one final card, and then we'll pull some charms as well to see any other information we can get here on what brings others to you. Okay, so you have the Six of Paper, glue, mending, healing, reconciliation. This again connects with that idealistic nature, but specifically with the rainbow that we had here. The rainbow tells me, and is usually a signification of like healing and growth. And so not only do you help other people feel better, but maybe you're the therapy friend, you're the person who can really help other people work through their stuff because you've gone through things or you understand them or you're in a solid enough place to be able to lift them up or cheer them up at this time. You're the glue friend, you're the one that holds people together, you're the one making sure that people do meet up and hang out. You're the person usually that is first to call. So Six of Paper, glue, mending, healing, reconciliation. So that's also showing up here. You just really feel like the glue of your group or the glue of like friendships and the people that you get together, because since you have that solid foundation, the time management skills and the hope that you bring to other people and the mending, that just helps glue everyone together. So let's finish off with some charms here for you and some letter tiles. And what we're going to do with the letter tiles here is to see who it is that you may be attracting in. So we're going to see particular letters that you could spell out names. You can take these as far as you want and write them on little notes and mix them around and find what words I missed. But you can also see this as an opportunity to see particular initials that are really important or places that may be important to where you may meet or attract particular people. So we're going to see that with the letter tiles. So let's pull these for you. Okay, so you have, for a second that looked like an L. So I saw golf. Maybe you guys are interested in golf. That'd be really interesting as someone who, I personally am not a golfer, but maybe that's something you're into, or, you know, mini golf or something like that. You have G-O-F-E, G-E-U. So G's are really important, E's are really important for sure. Like this feels like golly gee, like maybe you're really silly as well. There's a silliness that it kind of comes out when you really are around particular people. Let me see what else. We can't really spell glue like I was kind of looking into, but we did have again that F that really, or that E that really felt like an L. So in a way you kind of have glue showing up here. Interesting as well that you can spell foe here. So it also could be that you're attracting, again, with that defensive energy that you have here, that you could also be attracting people who are foes, you know, because we do end up pushing back. If you find that you're like the type of person who, like, it's, the cards are showing that you push back against other people who try to bring you down or put those around you down, that means you also sometimes do attract, unfortunately, foes and people who want that defensive mechanism, that, you know, get a high off of that. So that's something to consider as well. You also have sort of like geo here as well, that you could spell, which makes me think that maybe again that sailor energy of wanting to go on trips and such. So maybe by going on retreats, going on trips with other people, camping, road tripping, just going and seeing like that new restaurant that showed up in your town or city and going with someone, right? That attracts other people in, more local people from outside of your typical circles, but there's something there. And maybe also like nature trips too. with like geography, but feel free to play around with those as you wish. I'm going to pull you some final charms to see anything else coming forward that we can see, and we will finish off your reading. So feel free to chit chat with the charms here, and I will pull some for you. Okay. Ooh, you got the Kindred charm. This one came from one of my friends who lives all the way across the world from me, and it always makes me feel like a kindred spirit, someone who, it doesn't matter how far away they are, you feel deeply connected to them. So because you had that travel element and that coming forward, and also the pawn, does tell me, if, and even geo, like we were talking about earlier, like a geography thing, that you can definitely make friends halfway across the world. Maybe you are on online forums or other discords or ways in which to connect with other people, and I could see you creating communities of kindred spirits or other people whom which you really get along with as well, being a part of this as well, or even just connecting with one particular person halfway across the world and that being surprising to you. Maybe could be someone from your past or your childhood, because you did get like the childhood little clip here, like you're clipped together. You did have that reconciliation coming forward, so maybe you're also attracting in someone who you haven't seen in a very long time. You have the number 6 showing up here. 6 is a harmony number. Again, the mending and the healing nature of you. You have the what do you have under here? You have 2, the partnership charm, showing at the very center here. So this really tells me that, like, I know I talked about different communities, but it really tells me, like, maybe one particular person you are attracting in. Maybe there was something that happened in childhood that was very sharp, but has somewhat mended since then, or they want to mend something with you. There's this feeling, a very specific feeling of, like, someone coming back into your life from childhood whom which you want to mend things with, someone who felt like a kindred spirit but something got severed very early on. Otherwise, if that doesn't fully connect, it's everything that I talked about earlier already, but there is this mending, this healing, there's a bit of anxiety around it as well, though, because you did get the anxious worry stone sort of charm too. So overall, though, those are all the charms and cards that I have here for you. Here's another look at all of the cards so that you can see. I hope that this was useful and helpful to you in seeing who you are attracting in, and also why you're attracting those particular type of people toward you, what particular qualities are very magnetic about you to do so. If you did find this useful and helpful, I would love to hear your thoughts down below, and also to give this video a like. And if you're interested in more pick a card readings like this, I put them out every single Monday, except for every once in a while when my camera decides to not work, like last week. Otherwise, they usually are every Monday. So definitely feel free to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and keep updated. Also, if you are interested in a relationship reading, if you have any particular relationship you want to look into, whether it is a queer one, or if you're interested in a relationship with a family member, a friend, with a particular spirit, or even with yourself or a romantic relationship, I would love to look into that for you from your point of view, if that's something you're interested in. I have 3 different options of particular spreads that you could get, and you can also get them either in a digital reading or a snail mail reading where I send a letter to you in the mail. It is typewritten on my vintage typewriter from the 1970s. It is a wax sealed close, so it's for your eyes only. And as always, I go very deep into those. So if that's something you're interested in, then definitely reach out, as I have those open for the rest of the month of February. And to be honest, like, they're always open, but I really like to highlight them at this time of the year. And I also still have New Year's readings open as well if you want to get a reading on your entire year. So lots of options for digital, snail mail readings, and different price points and all of that you can check out too. All the information on that will be down below in my description, with the Instagram, with the helpful and honest reviews over on my Instagram. And if you can't find everything, definitely feel free to just send me an email and I will send more information your way. But with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off your reading here. Thank you so much for hanging out here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello group 2, if you decide to choose this little heart, then this is the pile for you, as we are going to be looking into your attractive qualities about you, what really attracts and magnetizes other people in toward you. So this doesn't necessarily, it's not always going to talk about our favorite qualities about ourselves, and it doesn't always talk about the qualities in which maybe there are qualities that you're insecure about, but do attract other people in, whether you know it or not. So this is going to be an interesting sort of outside perspective looking in at you rather than like exactly who you are, if that makes sense. So take this with a grain of salt as always, see what comes forward. And we're not only going to be looking into like who you're attracting romantically, but also who may you be attracting in for friendships in your life, for community building that you could have, for even lost family members or particular spirits, or however you wish. This can go very deep. So we're going to be doing that with the charms here, as well as several different oracle decks, and the tarot deck of choice being the Queer Tarot, of course, because I love to work with this deck, especially around relationship related things. But definitely feel free to get yourself cozy, settled, and comfy for this. All of this will be listed down below in the description in case you're curious what I am using here today in specific. But yeah, send your energy in and let's see, group 2, what traits about you are attracting other people in and why. So let's see what those attractive and magnetic qualities are about you, group 2. The attractive and magnetic qualities about group 2 here. So first off, you've got the Four of Pentacles. Interesting one to have show up here because it's such a card of wanting to be sort of left alone, if that makes sense. So maybe you're not attracting like huge swaths of people. You also have the Sun as well as the Page of Swords. Interesting. You guys have such a young, playful energy that you will almost want to protect. That's the feeling I get here. A very youthful energy for sure. You also have the 8 of Wands. And let's see, the 4 of Swords. You've got 4 and 4 showing up here, and then that doubling in over here at the 8 with the Sun and the Page of Swords. Okay, things I'm immediately seeing here is that you're not trying to attract huge swaths of people. Maybe you're not the most what's the word that I'm looking for? The most outgoing person or extroverted person. You may be a bit more introverted, maybe a little bit more awkward, a little bit more silly and playful. And I really get this feeling, sorry, I bumped the table, really get this feeling that you guys really want a very close-knit kind of people around you. If you're going to have people come into your life, they need to be close to you, they need to understand you, they need to understand all the intricacies about you. You're not interested in small talk. You're not interested in just saying things to appease other people. You just seem like a very direct person. You're the kind of person who's just like, this is who I am. This is what I got going on. If you don't like it, I don't want to talk to you. You know what I mean? So you're not attracting huge swaths of people because you do protect yourself and you protect your energy and you protect who you are from other people who wouldn't understand. But there is this awkward quality to you as well. The reason why I got most of what I just talked about is because of the Sun card showing this bursting energy of sunshine and love and like a giddy, bubbly energy, like a little child running across the room because they just want to zoom around and they enjoy that. They really enjoy living their life, but they don't want to just bring anyone into it. They don't want to expose themselves like the Sun can to just anyone, but rather a filtered, protected few. And the people who do make it into your circle, though, the people who do really make it into this circle, into your protected area, the people who make you feel like you can just be yourself, resting or bubbly or silly or awkward, is because you filter those people out. But those people who do make it in are like your people to death, you know what I mean? Like you love them to death. Like you want anything you can do for them, they are your people. And so if they ever do something to harm you or to put you down or to, betray you in some way, that's a huge thing. I feel like it's huge for anyone, but I do feel like for you, it's like it goes above and beyond. Like you really crush you. So I really think that like that's why you also filter the people that you have in, because maybe you've had that in the past. You've been burnt in the past. So you don't just let anyone in. There is, again, like I was talking about, that awkward nature to you, though, because the Page of Swords usually is kind of awkward. They hold this sword very awkwardly. They're not really sure how to swing it. They're kind of just got their head in the clouds. They're not really sure what they're doing. Are we playing baseball? Are we swinging a sword? Like, what's happening here? So there's always this, like, kind of awkward, bubbling fawn kind of energy that's going on here with the Page of Swords that I really love. And it's a really gentle energy. And then you also have the gentle energy of the sun as well, showing up here with the unicorn and the sunshine and the childlike wonder that shows up in this card. So I really think that you're someone who maybe enjoys more childish things, enjoys just being yourself, and maybe that's not everyone's thing. Maybe it's not the most adult thing to be doing, but it's what you enjoy, and so you only let those type of people in as well. This 8 isn't really giving me a lot, honestly. It does kind of give that you're maybe a more creative person. I do have that kind of showing up here, also in combination with the sun, that maybe you enjoy a lot of color. Maybe you wear a lot of color. I do get that, but this deck in general is very colorful. But I do have this feeling just in general that you really enjoy being creative, coming up, like I'm thinking less like artistic creative and more like writing creative. Maybe you enjoy stories, storytelling, books, movies, characters, cosplay, other sorts of things along those lines, right? Storytelling is a huge part of things that I think attract people in, especially if you want to build communities online or offline. I think that that's part of it too. I want to look further though, so we're going to pull you 2 more cards to see what else comes forward. We'll see if we get any more on this 8 of Wands energy, but we're going to be pulling from the Citadel Oracle. This one can be a little bit more honest, where I think that like sometimes tarot can kind of fluff our egos. This one can be a little bit more honest, but not always, so we're going to see. Let's see any other qualities that are attracting other people to you. You have the Runaway. Interesting. Secrets running from my problems. So this makes me think too that like maybe you also don't want to bring other people into your life because you've gone through difficult situations, betrayals, maybe harsh family environments, things that have made you feel caged, that have made you feel put down, that have made you feel stuck. And so you don't, again, let anyone in. But also in doing so, maybe you also have insecurities that showcase like feeling like you don't want to be anyone's problem, or you don't want anyone to have to deal with like the baggage that you have. But everybody has something. Everybody's got something going on. So I do think that sometimes if you find other people who've gone through similar situations as you, you'll also attract those types of people toward you, because they understand that runaway, that rebellion, that feeling misunderstood situation that shows up here. So you kind of attract those same sorts of people toward you. Let's see what else is showing up here for group 2. Group 2. Okay. I'm going to take the assassin one that showed up here instead of these 2, although in case they showed up for each of any of you, you have the king with control and reversal of fortune, and then the smith, overthinking and taking action. But I am going to take this one because it's the one that kind of collected all of them. I'm not saying that you guys are an assassin by any means. These are just interesting archetypes to play around with in this particular Citadel city. It's more of an RPG deck, and it has ruthlessness and conviction. And I like the idea of conviction as well, showcasing like you have a reason, you have a past, you have beliefs about yourself in the world that you, really stick to. And that's, again, another reason why you really protect yourself and only feel at ease with particular people in your life who you really let in. And again, it also shows that you would do anything for the people that you love. Not necessarily this harshly, but, you would protect them. And so that energy shows up here too. Let us finish with one more card here in the center, and then we'll pull some charms as well. So I want to see any more energy we could discover here for you. Bent the card a little bit with the author. This is interesting because I talked about earlier this feeling of stories being a huge part of the things that you enjoy. Any kind of storytelling of any variety, right? Writing, cosplay, poems, even stories in music or in lyrics. There's so many different ways, right? Like, it doesn't have to just be like a book. But you have those shared qualities, and I think that people enjoy and are attracted to you by the stories that you create or the stories that you're inspired by in your creativity. So you have the author. This also says specifically spirituality, devotion, and higher powers. It could also be related to sort of the author of life in however you see that, the universe, God, gods, goddesses, goddesses, all of that kind of stuff. Like, it could go any way that you feel fits. So it also could be a spiritual element here too, that you connect people together who have a similar spirituality as you or a similar belief about life as you. But I also really just get that author energy of like you either being an author, a writer, a storyteller, or you get really wrapped up in stories, and that being a huge part of what attracts other people toward you. So let's finish off your reading with some charms. What we're going to do with the charms here today is we're going to pull some letter tiles first to see if there's any information we can get for particular initials, places, or oracle messages that we can write out. And you can spell these as much as you'd like, so you can take these beyond this reading and keep playing and fiddling with these as much as you'd like. And then we'll also pull some charms to get any final messages. So let us see here. Definitely send your energy in, and I'll pull some for you. So first off, you have JOEND, as well as OLLTD and I. So you have O's repeating, L's repeating, D's repeating. I definitely saw like the word Joe, but of course that's also in my name, so I can't help but, see that for myself. I kind of see like North Dakota showing up here. I see did or DID maybe being a part of this as well, especially with childhood and such showing up here so much. Also see like den here as well. Makes me think too, like you have like your own little den, your own little space. You don't let other people in easily, right? That's your home, that's your space. That's a place you protect the people that you love at. That's why we build dens. You have toll, lot, jot, like lots of different things you could write, but I'm going to leave it there for you guys to play around with further. But I'm going to pull you some charms here too. So feel free as always to have a little chit chat with the charms, and I will pull some for you, group 2. Okay, so this is interesting. I almost feel like these are like some traits of the people that you are attracting in, and it's really interesting that you got the fall in love charm. It doesn't really say it there anymore, but just trust me, it says fall in love. You have the love charm with like this one. I always think with like all these little buds. It makes me think of like a crush, like the very early beginnings of love. And then you have down here the love charm where it's like true love or a solid love with someone. It doesn't have to be like a romantic thing, but just in general, you really care about falling deeply in love. Maybe you enjoy a lot of romantic stories as well, or you enjoy romance, or enjoy getting lost in like shipping culture and things like that. There could be something going on there, especially with like the rose-colored glasses showing up here next to it. Like, you have this really fluffy feeling about love, and maybe not for you, but you enjoy that in the stories, and the reasons why you maybe are attracting particular people into your life are because of the particular stories around and surrounding love. Otherwise, this also could just be that you're attracting in particular people who are really looking at you for a more romantic or like soul friendship kind of love. You also have the winter, which could tell timing with the snowflake here. The snowflake also tells me that this is something that is melting its way into your life. Like, it's right now it's not really happening, but it's melting its way into your life right now. Someone who maybe is crushing on you or has that feeling of, again, like enjoying shipping and fandoms and such. You also have like maybe someone who is like fated to come into your life, like, again, a very solid soulmate, because you did get the charm of like spirit guides working behind the scenes to make something happen for you, so you don't notice that this is all happening, but slowly it's chaining together, a chain of events. And then you have the optimistic charm showing up here with the Sagittarius, I believe. Yeah, Sagittarius energy showing up here too. So it could be that it is someone who is a Sagittarius or someone who is a fire sign in their sun, moon, or rising that you may be attracting in. Usually I pull these to see more about you. And maybe you're an optimistic person, maybe you're someone who is a Sagittarius, maybe all of this fits you, but I just got this feeling that it was someone else, that this is a particular person that you're attracting in, and some of their qualities. So interesting how they may or may not be, connecting with you. So just because someone is being attracted into you does not mean you cannot reject them. So it's up to you. But that's the energy that I have here for you. I'll let you see the cards here once again. But these are all the charms. Here are all of the cards. And I do hope that this has been useful and helpful to you in seeing the really interesting qualities that attract other people toward you. If you found it useful and helpful, I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the description. If you saw that those were your qualities or another's, if these things have already started to come forward, if you can notice that this is why you attract people in, I would love to hear your thoughts. Also, to give this video a like really helps the algorithm, and I appreciate it. And if you want to see more of these videos, I put them out almost every single Monday, so definitely feel free to subscribe and hit the notification bell to stay notified of when I post. And if you're interested in relationships in general, and you have a particular relationship in your life that you want to dive further into, whether it's a spiritual relationship, the relationship with yourself, with a family member, a friend, a romantic relationship, or anything else under the sun, then definitely feel free to reach out, as I have both digital and snail mail readings open right now for you for relationship readings. And there are 3 different options for spreads you can choose from too. So lots of different price points, lots of different availability. So feel free to check out all the information down below with the pinned posts on my Instagram. And I also have New Year's readings open still if you would like to look into your entire year to get a feel for what is to come and to be better prepared for it. So all of the information on that with helpful and honest reviews are all over on my Instagram, linked down below. But you can also just feel free to reach out to me through a DM or an email, and I will send all the information you need. But with that all said, thank you so much for being here with me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hello, Group 3. If you've decided to choose this little hand, then this is the pile for you. As today we are going to be exploring what particular qualities around you and about you really attract people in, magnetize people in toward you. These may be qualities that you find yourself insecure about. These may be qualities in which you really love about yourself, or it could also be qualities you weren't even expecting would be something that would be attractive or magnetizing. We're also going to see this mostly from another person's point of view looking toward you, or other people looking toward you, rather than like how you feel about yourself necessarily, but rather how they view you. So maybe it's something that you feel insecure about, but they're like, actually, you seem really secure about it, because that's the mask that you're putting on. So we're seeing it more from an outside perspective as we move through this. So keep that in mind and take this with a grain of salt as always and play around with it with me here. We are going to be doing all of this with the charms as well as several different oracle decks and the Queer Tarot being the main tarot deck here today, which I think is just perfect for a relationship reading. And I also think it's important to denote as well that this is not particularly romantic relationships. This can be romantic relationships in which you may be attracting in, but also friendships, co-workers, job recruiters. Like, this could be all different types of people that you are bringing in towards your life and attracting in towards your life from all different walks of life and all different types of relationships. So keep an open mind as we move through this, and we'll see what comes forward for you. But feel free to get yourself cozy, settled, comfy for this. Call in your guides if you'd wish, and send your energy into the deck and supplies here. So let's begin with your attractive and magnetic qualities here, group 3. What qualities are attractive and bring forth that magnetism towards other people in your life? What magnetic and attractive qualities are within you, group 3, and which are being highlighted? So first off, you've got the 2 of Pentacles. Interesting. There's this juggling, multitasking energy to you. You also have the Knight of Swords charging in. You go against the grain a bit of a rebel. I can't say the word. A bit of a rebel, a rebellious nature to you. Let's see what else. Group 3. Definitely send your energy in. I know it seems silly, but it does make a difference. Let's see. Group 3. You also have the Devil. Again, a bit of a rebellious energy towards you. Maybe not the most conventional person. Let's see. Anything else here? Magnetic qualities surrounding group 3. Okay, so you have the Page of Pentacles as well as the 5 of Cups. Okay, interesting spread here. What am I noticing first? The rebellious nature of this feeling also that, like, on this outward stance, like, there's 2 points of you, there's 2 parts of you that you're constantly balancing. Almost like there's this rebellious side on the inner side of you or the outer side of you, you'd probably know which. But there's also another side of you that's quite stable, that's also maybe undergoing a bit of grief right now or going through a stage of loss, because it also shows that, like, maybe you've lost part of yourself, because you do have that Knight of Swords surrounding this particular card. But yeah, there's like this juggling, multitasking, or one side of you is being shown and another side of you is currently grieving. So it feels like even though on the outside you are pushing through, you're rebelling, you're telling the truth, you're being very honest, you're wanting to put out the word out there. Maybe you are someone who is very outspoken or wants to, advocate for other people, advocate for yourself, advocate for those who are not able to at this time. At the same time, you may be grieving or having to just go through normal life as well. And on the normal life side of things, when you're not having to put your suit of armor on, there is this feeling of grief. Maybe grief for the people whom which you are advocating for. Or maybe there's also a bit of a feeling of, like, needing to maybe distance yourself from that and find sort of a more stable energy from the Page of Pentacles here. It is interesting that, like, only these 2 cards are kind of during the daytime, or even during sort of a twilight energy. Most of this stuff, though, is happening at night in undercover. So again, I feel like not everyone always sees this side of you. There's like 2 sides of the coin. Like, maybe your family or the people whom which are close to you, maybe you're not sharing those more rebellious sides of yourself or able to currently share those parts of yourself, and maybe that's something you're grieving, maybe that's a loss that you're having, or maybe it's a feeling of, like, not being able to in the daytime. You have to mask yourself, not show all of yourself. But at the nighttime, and this is just like figurative night and day, under the cloak of darkness, when other people aren't, when there isn't a feeling of a need to protect yourself or protect others, I do see you like really charging in on this rebellious energy. So it's like two sides of the coin. One side, you're bringing in people who maybe are only attracted to that mask side of yourself, as in like masking, to be kind of stable, have a stable job, doing the things that you're supposed to do in society, but you're also grieving that part of yourself, or grieving for other people who you have to speak up for or want to speak up for. And then there's also the side of you that is rebelling and and you're bringing in and attracting people who also want to rebel as well. Rebel against certain systems, belief systems. It doesn't have to be something super huge on like a global scale. It doesn't have to be something, it could just be something small in your life, a band you really love, a book you were told you weren't supposed to read, a particular style you were never supposed to, enjoy. Maybe it has something to do with your identity, but regardless, there is that feeling of rebellion. Also, other things we can get from this too, like, it tells me also that you're quite a clever person. Like, this Page of Pentacles, like, they are literally putting on something over their hair, right? They're trying to mask themselves in some way, but also they have like this little smirk, right? And I get this feeling that too, it's like you're a bit of a serpent. You're the type of person who is like very cunning and curious, and you have a listening ear on the gossip and other things that are going on. You may not always outright speak. You're not the type of rebel who just wants to be, outwardly rebellious. But maybe it's just like with your belief systems and the way that you see the world. You move through it like a serpent, where you're just listening, keeping a listening ear, saying what you need to, moving through the day to just try to get through it. Maybe whisper in a person's ear to kind of change their system of belief, change their mind on something, instead of like debating them or putting yourself out there or being like loud and intense and just rebellious for the sake of being a rebel. Instead, you're making outward change and inward change towards other people, because you're able to just sort of sneak in between things, and I think that's kind of a really awesome trait to have. So that's everything that I have showing up here so far, but I want to pull more, of course. So we're going to pull 2 cards here from the Citadel Oracle. This one can be a little bit, it's like an RPG deck, so it can be a little bit more based on archetypes from more of like an RPG setting. So these also can be a little bit more honest, is how I see it. So we're going to see that honest side of you as well, that attract other people in. So I feel like so far you've attracted rebels and people who are, against the system or against the grain or in a minority of some sort. You also have the storyteller. This is so what I was talking about, like that serpent energy, that feeling of like whispering something into another person's ear, and you just kind of move through the shadows. And you have viewpoints and control. Like, you control the viewpoint of other people because you're not trying to outwardly debate them and push them into a corner. Rather, you're like, well, maybe we could see it this way. Maybe you could see it that way. And you slowly ebb and change their mind. It doesn't always work, but there is that energy too. So maybe you're also someone, just in general, you also might be a storyteller. You might be someone who enjoys stories. You're an author, you're a writer, you're a filmmaker, or somewhere else, some other way, an artist in which you can show viewpoints and show and create change in your community and in the world, and even in just for yourself. But because of that, I do think you also flock in other people who are storytellers too, or enjoy a story and want to hear your point of view. So let us see further. Group 3. You also have the Champion. I get this card all the time. The Champion card, Achievement and Downfall. What's interesting about the Champion is it's like, when you feel like you're most on top, that's also when you're sometimes the most vulnerable, because everyone else is also looking toward you. So again, I feel like it is that feeling of being in the shadows. You don't want to necessarily be seen for the achievements that you are doing here, but rather, if you stay in the shadows, if you have that rebellion under the cloak of darkness, you are able to make bigger change than if you were to outwardly thrust your sword and be this huge big advocate, but also in doing so you put a huge target on yourself, and in doing so you also label yourself as the rebel, and thus maybe not be able to change people's viewpoints because you're not able to kind of serpent through. So there is this in-between nature of you, a bit of a duality that comes forward that is kind of to your benefit. Let's finish with one more card, and then I want to pull some charms for you as well. So, group 3, any other energy that we should be looking at? Okay. You have, the waters, relief, rejuvenation, and rest. Very different from everything else that we've had show up here. Like I said, yes, you have this rebellious energy, and I've talked about it over and over and over, but you also have that grief that we were talking about earlier. You also have a softer side to you. You also have a more stable side to you, in which is the reason why you have that dual nature. And so I also think that you bring in certain people who want rest, who want to feel rejuvenated, who want to feel hope, who want to feel relief by being around you. And I think that you do bring that towards other people too, that you're not all forceful rebellion, but rather that quiet under the cloak of darkness rebellion. And thus it also means that certain people just sort of flock to you naturally, like a river would. Water flows towards what has least resistance, and thus you maybe feel like someone who would not resist them or put them down or push them down because you see the other side of the coin, and thus you feel like a safe space. So I think you also bring a really safe space, a safe, restful space towards other people, and they then flock to you for that reason too. I want to see more though, so we're going to be pulling some charms here, and with the charms we're also going to pull some letter tiles. The letter tiles are going to give us some information on any oracle messages we can spell, and also any initials that are really important, but as always you can look even deeper with these and spell as long as you'd like. But let's pull some for you. Definitely send your energy in. Let's see, who may you be attracting in? So you have Sesony. I believe that's a Y. Where's that an X? Okay, a Y. Oh, X. Interesting. And a P. So you could have X's that are showing up here, people who you haven't talked to in quite a while. Again, maybe changing their mind on something. You also have like sun showing up here. Makes me think like maybe someone in your family that you are attracting towards you because they either want to debate you with you or they are interested in, your point of view. There's also like a different way of writing nice here. Instead of like the typical way of writing nice, I kind of get like this nice feeling showing up here, which tells me that like you're maybe being nice to them. You're attracting in people who think you're very nice, but really you are just, again, like that serpent in between. You know certain things, you're very clever, you're very cunning with the way in which you speak to other people and how you can kind of control the narrative a little bit more. There's that energy showing up here too. Feel free to play around with these further and see what else shows up for you. But I'm going to pull some charms as well. With each of the piles, I've been pulling the charms with the intention of looking more into your traits and qualities. But I also am open to the people that we are looking that you are attracting in, I want to look into their qualities as well. So that's been showing up each time. So we're going to see all of that with the charms. Definitely feel free to send your energy as always. Have a little chit chat with them, and I'll pull some for you. Okay. So I felt this huge connection while I was moving through those for the expiration charm. Like I felt it on my finger and I was like, yes, we must drop the charms now. And it's interesting because you had the X show up here, you have the miss charm, and you have the expiration date, which tells me that this is also like you're attracting in people who have already expired out of your life, who have already, that maybe you miss, maybe there was a missed chance with them, or maybe they miss you. but they're only missing an expired version of you, a person that doesn't exist anymore, right? A person in which they want but cannot have. And so there's something showing up here of that, right? We think about things that we attract people in, but sometimes we're attracting the people that we don't necessarily want. You have eyes showing up here as well as another part of the letters. You have the self-love charm showing up here too. You have the shell, and this particular shell, because I'm pretty sure they're called a cowrie shell, but I could be wrong. Regardless, if the shell fell this way, it shows that you're very guarded, but there is this open energy, so you could be bringing in particular people who are open to learning and to growing. You have the romantic charm showing up here, so more exes showing up here as a part of this. You do have, interestingly, this is like little middle school me, this is the charm of your past self or your childhood self, and you had it right next to like little maple leaf, seasons changing, this feeling of like you having changed. So again, it feels like you're attracting in people maybe who haven't talked to you in a long time, who don't really know you anymore, who are interested in how much you've changed, have like this feeling of like, I know you've changed. I know there's this feeling that like you're different than I knew you in the past. But like the only reason they're coming back are because they either miss the old version of you, or they only want to look into how you've changed and not like the reasons why. So that's something to keep in mind, to make sure that especially people from your past, are coming in for the right reasons, to either hear you out, to see this other side of you, rather than for who you used to be, or what you could bring to them that has expired. Also, this does tell me too that you could also be attracting in younger people than yourself, younger perspectives than yourself, people who are maybe looking for a more seasoned person as well. Interesting. Definitely feel free to play around with these and see what else comes forward. You guys had a very different kind of pile, so I'd really love to hear your thoughts down below in the description. I always want to hear your thoughts, but this particular pile was really interesting, so I'd love to hear how you're maybe rebelling in your life, or how this is coming forward, what you think. All of the charms are over here, as well as the cards, and if you did enjoy this reading, like I said, I'd love to hear your thoughts, as well as give this video a like. It really helps the algorithm, and I appreciate it if you enjoyed it. And if you're interested in more readings like this one, I put out new readings every single Monday that you can check out by hitting the notification bell and subscribing to the channel. All the information for the different readings that I do will be down below in the description. So if you're really interested in a year ahead reading, or particularly interested in a relationship reading, those are open right now. So you can look into your entire year for the year ahead, or if you want to look into 3 different options, as well as digital or snail mail reading options for spreads, then this is the time to do that for relationship readings, where you can look into any particular relationship in your life, whether it's with a family member, a friend, with an old ex, with a spiritual member in your life, or a spirit, with yourself, however you wish. All of the information for that is down below. This is a great way to support the channel as well as support yourself, so definitely feel free to check out all the information, or send me an email if you can't find everything. So with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off your reading. Thank you so much for being here with me today. I will just mention, I do have an entire reading on the quiet rebel in you that I will have linked up here that you can check out as well, because you guys had so much rebellion in here that you should definitely check it out. If it's not listed up there, definitely feel free to check it out on my channel. It was a few months ago and worth checking out, I think. So with that all said, I'm going to go ahead and close off your reading. Thank you so much for being here with me today, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye.